the 704 once again for episode, I believe this is 15 now, of the 815 exchange. I am back. Even though for you it's been the usual 7 days, it feels like about 2 weeks for me, to be honest. So it's good to be back on the couch. Good to be back in front of the camera and all of that. The trip was fantastic. Bears, pool. Listen, follow me on my social medias if you want to keep up with all that. I won't say too much though, but shout out to my friends. Love them. They're great. Fantastic. Trip was amazing. But, back to reality, back to the world. Back to the world of sports and entertainment here with another episode of the 815 exchange. It wasn't a variety of things as the NBA is not in, the NHL is not in, but we did have quite a bit going in a couple different areas. Getting ahead here, the topics for the week will be college football, combat sports, music and film, the NFL, and of course I got a little roundup at the end per usual. And that seems to be kind of the consistent thing we've had the past couple of episodes. Also, reminder, podcasts are lengthy. If you're looking for a certain section, because I get it, timestamps are in the description. Please go check the description. Social media links are also in the description. Timestamps are always in the description for you. I know it can be long, this can be hard. Looking for a certain section or you want to try to skip ahead, speed up the process a little bit. Timestamps in the description. What else? Oh, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Continue to grow the channel. Hit 3K watch time. So for the past 28 days, subs up, everything up, views are up. Thank you for the support, and let's keep it going. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start the 15th episode of the 815 exchange, and we're going to start off with college football. UNC Charlotte update. Well, our game got canceled again. I feel like we have to lead the league. I meant to hit up one of my friends on the team about this. I feel like we might lead the country in game cancellations. I don't know if there's anybody that's had a game canceled more than we have. I think it's at least 4 times, which is crazy, but just been a really unlucky year. It was supposed to be a home game, but nonetheless, I believe we're at Marshall next week. It's going to be a tough task. We'll see how we do. Been a long kind of layoff since we last played, but in the top 25, and really just general college football news, one of the biggest surprises, one of the biggest risers this year has been Desmond Riddler and this Cincinnati team. They are absolutely for real. They absolutely butchered ECU 55-17. Riddler had 4 touchdowns, 402 yards combined. He's looking like one of the best dual threat quarterbacks in the nation. I feel like with the way he's played, I don't think really anybody can argue that right now. Possibly just one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. A lot of great quarterbacks, a lot of great quarterback play this weekend. That's something I'll get into. I might make that this title actually. But Cincy looks for real. That defense looks great. Caused a lot of issues for ECU, but Cincy rolls. I think they're up to 5th in the nation, or 6th. They're right on that cusp of that college football playoff. We'll see what happens. Again, this would have been the perfect year for an 18 playoff, but I digress. For those that know, I'm a USC fan. Fight on. Not that South Carolina, y'all were Scar. They were referred to as Scar on this show. It should be referred to as Scar. That's a cool nickname. Y'all aren't USC. We're the real USC. We took on Arizona this week. We won 34-30. Late comeback. Keaton Slovis did not have his finest game, but Amon-Ra St. Brown nearly did. Amon-Ra, I tweeted this out. Probably ends up popping up here. Most underrated receiver in the country, was the top receiver coming out of high school, and just because of our success level, it's kind of gone under the radar, but he is an incredible talent. He's going to be a heck of a player in the NFL in a year's time. because I highly doubt he's coming back. But Amon-Ra really came through late for us, caught that tip pass, and fight on, we get it done. Another close week. I'm still, as ever, not sold on Clay Helton. I much so wish we had a better head coach, but we live to fight another day. Miami, Virginia Tech, I did get some glimpses of this game. Miami won. Miami's a top 10 team again, which is something I didn't realize, but shout out to the U. They win 25-24 late. Virginia Tech just unlucky. Hated for my guy Hendon 336 product. One of the better quarterbacks in the nation too. Lost his footing on there. Just unlucky for Virginia Tech. Coming off of that Liberty loss. And that, which is a team we'll get to a little bit later here. But yeah, just not been the greatest year for Virginia Tech. A lot of unlucky moments, a lot of ups and downs. And this was a down this week. Miami gets it done. They've recovered very well from that Clemson loss and are back in the top 10. We'll see if they can make some noise. The ACC is looking pretty good this year, especially compared to last year. The ACC is looking much, much better. Yeah. Indiana, 24, Michigan State, 0. Michigan State is awful. Rocky Lombardi, last time I was on this show talking about a sports and entertainment recap, and I was recapping College Football Road. They beat Michigan. Rocky Lombardi went crazy. Rocky Lombardi was benched this week after throwing a couple interceptions, I think. Anyways, Michigan State, oh how the mighty have fallen. Terrible. They are terrible. Indiana looks top 10 team as well. Indiana looking very good. Ty Fogel had a career night. I know we got Penix, and he's been playing great this year, but Frigo, I really want to highlight, had a bunch of targets, but 11 receptions, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, a career day for him. Looked like one of the best receivers in the country, at least in that game. I don't know if that was because of Michigan State. I'll definitely be keeping an eye on Frigo and Penix as the season goes on, as Indiana looks threatening, and they got that game, I think, next week versus Ohio State, which is going to be one of the games of the week, so see that one for sure. I said I was going to mention Liberty. Well, here they are. The first mention of Liberty. I feel kind of dirty knowing the background about Liberty. I feel kind of dirty seeing them succeed and being okay with it. But nonetheless, this is football. They beat the crap out of Western Carolina 58-14. It was a no contest. Malik Willis is one of the best dual-back quarterbacks in the nation. He had 5 total touchdowns. He's been a phenom this year. Liberty has been a phenom this year. Say what you want about their comp, but at the end of the day, you still got to go out there against whoever you're playing. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You got to show out. They've showed out this year. Still undefeated. Banging on that top 20 door. And we'll see how Liberty goes for the rest of the season, but they've been phenomenal up to this point. Another team that has been phenomenal up to this point, and one of the big games of the week for me, has plenty of storylines to go around here. Notre Dame takes out Boston College 45-31. Of course, Phil Jerkovich. I feel like I'm talking about Jerk and Boston College quite a lot this season, which may be a testament, like I said, to the ACC's quality this year. But Jerk goes home to Notre Dame, which is where he transferred from. Of course, they had that thing, which I don't know how much of a forced storyline or actual storyline it was, with the whole Book tweeted out circle getting smaller after he transferred. You know, you can say what you want about that, but at the end of the day, Ian Book proved why he is the starting quarterback for Notre Dame, and it wasn't Jerk. Jerk didn't have his finest day. Though that Notre Dame defense was a big part of the reason why, but Ian Book past 2 weeks has been great. This week, 4 touchdowns, 268 yards combined. I always thought Book had potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He hasn't really showed that he's been an above average quarterback, but for Notre Dame to retain their spot and be able to take on a Clemson, possibly in the ACC championship, Book needs to be elite. We'll see if he can maintain this elite level of play over the rest of the season, or this is just, a little blip in the road, a little high, and he's going to revert back to the average, revert back to the mean. So we'll see, but Notre Dame, number 2 team in the country for a reason. They look great. Right now, playoff bound. Of course, we'll see in the ACC championship how that goes down. Shout out to Pat Fitzgerald and Northwestern. They get the win against Purdue, 27-20. Rondell Moore still not back from Purdue. But Northwestern is undefeated this year. Fired Mick McCall. It seems like it worked because Pat Fitz is doing wonders for that program. And yeah, happy for my Northwestern Wildcats. Good to see them succeed. Always been a very solid team, especially the past couple years. They've had some downs though, but yeah, every Northwestern fan I've interacted with online, because in North Carolina, I don't think anybody roots for Northwestern. They've always been great, and yeah, it just seems like they got a nice program down there. But 4-0, I believe. We'll see if I doubt. Of course, they're going to run the table, especially in the Big Ten. But nice to see some improvement. Shout out to Pat Fitzgerald. Offense, and more offense. Florida 63, Arkansas 35. Kyle Trask has to be the Heisman front runner. 356 yards, 6 touchdowns. He has 28 for the year. He's currently on a Joe Burrow-esque pace. To put that in perspective, Florida did this without Kyle Pitts, who, as some of you may saw in the Georgia game, not last week, but the week before last, took a vicious targeting hit, and he was out with a concussion. And I mean, for Florida, against the Arkansas team that's trending upwards, Pittman's doing a great job with them. Of course, they got robbed against Auburn, if you remember. Pretty solid Arkansas team. Florida's still able to hang 63. That offense is deadly. Absolutely deadly. Trask is looking great. His draft stock has to be going through the roof. Though I'm kind of getting tired of the whole ESPN, you don't have to pop up that he was the backup behind Derek King every single week. We know. We get it. Let Trask. Let's talk about what Trask is doing this year, because he's on a historical pace. And yeah, that Florida offense is absolutely incredible. I don't know much to say. You just went off for 60 without your best player. No words. Oregon, Washington State. I watched a lot of this game. 43-29. Oregon pulled it out. Tyler Shoe, 312 yards, 4 touchdowns. Great performance from him. JDL for Washington State, the freshman, 321, 2 touchdowns. Looked very good. Looked like he's going to be a very good quarterback for them. Washington State, no more Mike Leach. Looked like a better team. They had Oregon in that first half, had them for much of the game, but Oregon just outlasted. Talent ended up winning over, but that Washington State team's going to be competitive. Pullman, things are looking good for y'all. Oregon, business as usual. You're all supposed to be the cream of the crop in the Pac-12. We'll see if that goes down. We'll see how Shell plays the rest of the year. We'll see how that uber talented defense goes. Not their finest game this week, but we'll see how Oregon does the rest of the year. Wisconsin 49, Michigan 11. The state of Michigan football is just in shambles. Harbaugh is on his last thread. Surely, even Mertz didn't even have some great. Wisconsin didn't even have some great, marvelous. Even though they had a great game, a great team game, they won 49-11. But I really want to talk about Michigan here. Joe Milton looked like he was going to be the guy. I said he might be the guy. 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? I was wrong. It appears. Michigan, it's disastrous this year. It's worse than it's been. It's been passable, if you want to call it that, the past couple seasons, but this year is just, this is rock bottom. This feels like rock bottom. Another rock bottom. And for a program that has seen seemingly a series of rock bottoms lately, Michigan football is not a good space. Time to clean house. They had a bunch of recruits in this game. So J.J. McCarthy, of course, the 5-star quarterback they got coming in. Heard some smoke about him possibly decommitting. It's just rough. It's rough to be a Michigan fan. I would hate to be a Michigan fan. Just need a clean house. Just a whole culture shift, because it's just not working right now for them. Tulsa upsets SMU 28-24. Tulsa, one-loss team, gotta be beating down that top 25 jump very soon. Very competitive game here, but Tulsa seems to always get hot during this certain stretch of the season, and seems like it's happening again. They get the win here. Quickly moving on, we got Virginia and Wake Forest. Sam Howell, I said a bunch of great quarterback play. This might have been the best. Howell, 32 for 45, 550 yards, 6 touchdowns, a career day for Sam Howell, who has to be the top quarterback, I think, available next year. Going to be picked very, very high. Even though Carolina's gotten some fame this year for the running back duo, I think some respect needs to be put on this offense in the passing game. Naomi Brown, Daz Newsome, some of those guys that were getting more of that hype preseason that it's kind of let off here in the regular season. But Howell's had some great performances here, and none greater than this week. Though Sam Hartman, Wake Forest quarterback, 29 for 45, 429, 4 touchdowns in his own right. So big offensive game, 59-53. Very entertaining game for the casual viewer, but Carolina can score. That defense is looking very, very suspect, but Mac Brown has that ship steering in the right direction. Moving on from college football, I'll hop over to music, and it's really just music this week. No television, no film. I am almost done with Legend of Korra. It's definitely picked up later here. It's been pretty good. I've enjoyed it, and of course, I think I forgot what show I said I was gonna watch next. It was like Gods of something, but I saw the trailer on Netflix, so I'm definitely gonna watch that. Get back to you on the name when I started, but Korra's been pretty good if you want my TV updates. But besides that, no big news, but music, big week in music. Kodak Black somehow has managed to drop an album from prison. Don't know if I had to be pre-recorded, right? Because I didn't hear the prison phone when I was listening to it. I only listened to a couple tracks because I don't know if the vibe was off, or I honestly, I just didn't really care for it. At least the first couple songs, maybe I wasn't in the right mindset for it. But I heard a lot of people did enjoy it. I'll definitely try to get around to finishing it, but it's nothing that took me from surprise. I don't think it's any of like his best work. Yeah, I don't think it was any of his best work. But Bill Israel is out. Came out Wednesday. It was real weird kind of time place. Mostly everything comes out on like New Music Friday, but it was on a Wednesday. But nonetheless, Kodak dropped the album. If you're a big Kodak fan, you found a big fan of that sound. It's out there for you. I wasn't too impressed. I won't hold a music review as I didn't finish it. Before I get to the album I did listen to, and I do have a review for, 2 Chainz also dropped the album called So Help Me God. Heard it was some mid. I mean, Chainz is a legend, but I heard it was some mid. I heard it was nothing special. I didn't listen to it, didn't really care to listen to it. But Chainz is a legend. And if you're a massive 2 Chainz fan, again, go ahead. Music is subjective, so you can have a different opinion about certain type of music, or it's not like there's any correct way to say, oh, this is good, because everybody tastes it different. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say. I need a little break. Everybody's tastes are different, so yeah, maybe you'll enjoy it more than people online have been saying they enjoyed it, or maybe you won't. Maybe you'll be in that same kind of lane. Up to you. But the important stuff with music and film, as I almost knocked down my laptop. Pluto times Baby Pluto, Uzi Vert, Future. I thought it was a solid 8. I wasn't like thoroughly impressed. I thought it was solid. I think conversation needs to be had about Lil Uzi Vert as one of the artists of the year. I think he's done a great job this year. I actually, and this might be unpopular, enjoyed his stuff more than Future stuff on this. Standout track was Real Baby Pluto. If you follow me on Snapchat, you saw I posted that track. Yeah, I think it was a solid 8. It wasn't like their best stuff. It wasn't nothing crazy. It was good for it was good, but it wasn't like it wasn't mind blowing. It's not one of the projects of the year, so I wouldn't expect that. But it's if something if you're a fan of them or a fan of the sound, then I think it's something you'll enjoy. But nothing too crazy. I think it's a solid 8.0. That would be my review. Baby Pluto is my standout track. Versus news. Versus is kind of like quarantine radio kind of took over our quarantines over this past summer. Well, Versus season 2 comes back this week. And originally it was supposed to be T.I. versus Jeezy. Now it's Gucci versus Jeezy. I don't know how they're going to get both of them in the same studio. If you know the history, if you know, you know. If you don't, Google is your friend. Don't know how this is going to work. This could definitely go sideways. I'm gonna hold off on predictions of who I would think would win. I'm gonna be tuned in for sure. I don't know how this is gonna go down. It'll be very interesting. I just hope Gucci does not play the truth. It'll get real ugly. It'll get real ugly, and that would be a shame to see. But yeah, that's again. I believe that's on Thursday. The draft is on Wednesday. I think this verse is on Thursday. So if you're also like me, looking for some good entertainment value on a Thursday night, Gucci and Jeezy are sure to bring you that. Moving on to the NFL this week. Colts Titans. Colts took them out 34-17. I have Nyheim Hines on my fantasy team. I did not start Nyheim Hines, so of course Nyheim Hines went off for 29 points. Drown me in my sorrows. Phil Rivers. Something about these veteran, former franchise quarterbacks and them just being able to stay consistently good. Like even they don't really like fall off, I noticed. At least this generation of former franchise quarterbacks like Big Ben, Brady, Breeze, Phillip Rivers, like they're still like good players. They're not what they once were, but they're still very solid players. Rivers had 308 and a touchdown. Big shout out, Fido, to my guy Mike Pittman Jr. Got engaged recently and then had a career night, 7 receptions, 101. He's going to get one in the box soon. He's got a YouTube channel, and that gives you some insight around what a college football and now NFL player's life is, so I definitely go check that out if you're interested. But yeah, Colts get it done. They moved to 6-3. In one of the ugly games of the year, in a game that got delayed, the weather was crazy. Browns 10, Texans 7. Chubb and Hunt had a big day. That's really the only remarkable thing from this game. The Browns are 6-3, I guess. And the Texans continue to make their bid for a top 5 pick. But yeah, the less I say about this game, probably the better. The Lions beat the Washington football team 30-27. Stafford 24 for 33, 276, 3 touchdowns. Alex Smith threw 55 times, had 390 in his first start since that horrific leg injury, so that's always great to see. But Matt Prater, 59-yarder. If I had to bet my life on any kicker making a 50-yarder with about 2 seconds to go, it'd probably be Matt Prater. I feel like he's done this like 50, 40 times. But yeah, 59-yarder, which is probably one of the longest field goals this year. And yeah, that caps the big win for Detroit. The NFC East continues to flounder. No surprises here. Next, we got the Packers and the Jaguars. Packers win 24-20. Valdez-Scantling had a career day. 4 receptions, 149 yards, and a touchdown. Is quite possibly the most Marquez Valdez-Scantling stat line I have ever seen in my life. But Aaron Jones didn't do too much. A-Rod, not his finest. Still had over 300 yards passing, but yeah, Pack get it done. Jaguars move to 1-8 again. They'll definitely be in Trevor Lawrence contention. Is one of the teams looking to get him. Of course, the New York Jets are standing mighty on that mountain. I don't know if anybody can take them off, but the Jaguars look like they're surely going to give them a run for it. Next, we got the Giants beat the Eagles 27-17. Daniel again, the NFC East. And actually, if I'm looking at these records, I think the Giants would be first in the NFC East had the Eagles not got that tie and they played one less game. Nobody should be going to the playoffs from this division. I'm going to be completely honest. Nobody. And not just because I'm a Cowboys fan, we suck. Nobody. Every single team in this division is trash. Garbage. Awful. Awful. Giants get the win though. Daniel Jones had a great game. Eagles fans, Daniel Jones, with all due respect, Daniel Jones had a great game against you. Carson Wentz, your time might be up. Tampa Bay took out Carolina 46-23. Brady, big day, 28 for 39, 341, 3 touchdowns. Rojo, another one of my fantasy players, he came through. 23 carries, 192 yards, and a touchdown. He had that big 98-yarder. Teddy H2O had that bad injury. This morning they said no nerve damage, no structural damage, so that's fantastic news. Hope he's able to come back. Brady did a pretty good job spreading the ball around. I noticed too, Godwin. Felt like everybody kind of got some licks in this game. But yeah, Bucks, one of the best teams in the league, I believe. And that offense looked as deadly as ever. Brady looked deadly as ever. So Raiders beat the Broncos 37-12. Josh Jacobs had a big day. I had to make sure that 21 carries, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. Drew Lock, of course, he was dancing last week. He threw 4 picks this week. Not sure if he's going to be the guy as much as I like Drew Lock. Can't throw 4 interception games. Offense was just dreadful for Denver. And yeah, they just got to figure that situation out. And they're 3-6. They're going to have a great draft pick in this draft class. Better make the most of it. I almost called them Oakland. Excuse me. Vegas, Las Vegas, looking like they should be a playoff team, looking like they're going to be in contention for that wild card spot. We'll see as the rest of that season goes down, but they're showing a lot of things have shown that they might be a complete team defensively and offensively, and that'd be big for them long term. The Miami Dolphins are absolutely the surprise of this year, however. 29-21, they take out the Chargers. Battle of the 2 rookie quarterbacks. I'd say 2-1 this week. 15-25, 169, 2 touchdowns. Herbert only went 20 for 32, 187, 2 touchdowns, but he did have that interception. Not the best game he's played. Of course, I know a lot of people had him shoot in for rookie of the year. Not his finest game. I wouldn't, panic too much. The Chargers have just not been a good team this year, though he's been one of the bright spots. The Tua move might pay off. He hasn't lost yet as a starting quarterback. Miami is 6-3. And Buffalo, you might want to watch your back. And I know you just were kind of assumed to take over that AFC East mantle, but this Miami team is playing way better than expected. Brian Flores doing wonders, and they're definitely a team to watch for the rest of the season as we get to the end of the season, see what they do, see what Tua does, and so on and so forth. Game of the week. Arizona Cardinals, Buffalo Bills. I'm going to just pop the picture up. The best receiver in the league. Best receiver in the league. Is there anything else to say? He's the best receiver in the league. DeAndre Hopkins. Over 3 people. And it's a great advertisement for the Jordan brand. Kyler Murray said, I'll pop up that tweet probably right here. Bills, Josh Allen, again, I said I was wrong on him. He caught a touchdown in this game. Did throw 2 picks, but saw a game from him overall. Kyler didn't even have his finest game, but when it's winning time, Kyler Murray's gonna come through. DeAndre Hopkins, 7 receptions, 127 yards and a touchdown. just absurd. If you haven't watched the play, I think I've watched that play maybe 18 times since it happened. My roommate probably heard me yelling because I was watching it live on NFL Red Zone, which is the greatest channel in existence. Um, just outrageous, best receiver in the league. Cardinals are for real. Big win, big to get a win against a team like Buffalo. Below Buffalo look like y'all might be in a dogfight here. Like I said, with Miami making strides here. Still think they'll take over that AFC East title and take that crown. But we'll see. Two very good teams, and I'm not going to go as far as to say a Super Bowl preview because I wouldn't say all that. But two very good teams in the league. It was a very good game. All right, Seahawks, Rams. Rams get it done 23-16. Russell Wilson played the worst game I've seen him play in a long time. 2 picks. He had 3 turnovers total. DK Metcalf got shut down by Jalen Ramsey. Just a great game for the Rams, especially defensively. Didn't really do too much offensively. Kai Forbath was a very busy man. Goff didn't turn over the ball, just did what needed to be done. And the Rams, just as a team, did what needed to be done and played great defense and were able to take out the Seahawks. That NFC West might be the best division in football. I'm not going to lie to you. It's got to be up there with the AFC North, which I'll get to very, very, very shortly. Saints take out the 49ers 27-13. Breeze had a quiet day. He was out. Jameis Winston got into the game. AK-41 continues to be the number 1 receiver on that team, even though Michael Thomas is back. Nick Mullins looked like Nick Mullins threw 2 interceptions. Brandon Ayuk looks like a great receiver for them in the future, though. This is a great receiver class. Going to be a great receiver class next year, but this class especially has been phenomenal and just as good as predicted. But yeah, big win for the Saints. Steelers take out the Bengals 36-10. Chase Claypool is going to be a fantastic receiver. I can very much still see him being one of the best receivers in the league. If the Steelers can keep that trio of him, Deontay Johnson, of course Juju, that's going to be special. Ben Roethlisberger, 27 for 46, 333, 4 touchdowns. Joe Burrow, decent day for the rookie. T. Higgins, him and Higgins are going to be a very special duo. Higgins had 7 receptions, 115 yards, and a touchdown himself. But yeah, all Steelers, they're still 9-0, clearly the best team in the league, I would say. They seem to be a step ahead of everybody. They're just getting it done offensively. They're getting it done defensively. Shout out to Mike Tomlin, one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in the league. Depending on who you ask. But yeah, big win for them. And that young trio of receivers continues to look great. Patriots take out the Ravens 23-17. Lamar Jackson, I'm not sure what's going on with that Ravens team. More creative play calling is very much so needed. He said that last week, and it wasn't here this week. Little to no running game. Lamar turned the ball over. It was just an all-around bad game for the Ravens. They fall to 6-3, but compared to last year, they look like a much worse team. Pats get the win. Damian Harris looking like a great running back. He had 129 yards. We'll see how the Pats season goes. See if they can get back on track. Cam didn't play an awful game. Just kind of did what needed to be done, which is all you really need sometimes. All right, combat sports. Of course, this has been almost a regular topic talked about here on the A15 Exchange. Yeah, we'll start off with the big stuff. We'll start off with the big one. Terrence Bud Crawford. No surprise, everybody pretty much expected this. Takes out Kell Brook, the special one, Special K. Knocked him out in 4 rounds. I mean, was anybody really surprised by this result? With all respect to Kell Brook, I mean, ESPN did a great job trying to hype it, and build it up, but I think everybody knew that Bud, who might be the pound-for-pound best fighter on the planet, was going to make quick work of Kell, and he did. Him versus Errol Spence needs to happen. Absolutely needs to happen. That needs to be the next matchup. We'll see if Spence can get rid of Danny Garcia. If he does that, that has to be the fight. I know Manny Pacquiao is the other welterweight title holder, but I don't really care. Spence and Bud have to be the next matchup. Have to be the next matchup. That's the only fight I really have any kind of interest with. And yeah, I think that's the fight the boxing fans want to see. They both claim they're ducking each other. Well, guess what? Just make it happen. I don't care about the money. I don't care about any of that. Just make it happen. I'm tired of seeing y'all jaw off about who's better. It's time. We'll see who the real welterweight king is when Errol Spence Jr. finally fights Terrence Crawford. I don't care about the logistics. Please just make it happen. In the UFC, they had a fight night. Shout to Felder. Took the fight on 5 days' notice. He was only supposed to be a announcer, but took the fight on 5 days' notice, so big shout to him. However, RDA still decisioned him. No surprise there. Big win for RDA, helping him get some momentum back and get back going in the right direction. Former titleist RDA, I don't think he's going to get that title back, but nice to see him competitive. But yeah, big shout out to Felder. For some reason, somebody had him winning on the scorecards, which he wasn't, but all credit due to him. Full camp, who knows? He might get the win. Bigger news in that fight night. Chaos Williams with a absolute highlight reel that you probably saw on SportsCenter's Top 10 if you watched, or on their UFC coverage. An incredible knockout of Al Hassan. Put him straight to sleep. I don't know if I want to fight anybody with the actual name Chaos, with a K. He looked good. Might be an emerging prospect here for the UFC. We'll see. Anything can happen in the world of MMA. Literally anything can happen. We've seen crazier. Anything can happen in the world of MMA. And yeah, big title for him. We'll see if he can bring that momentum. Because it definitely brought some eyes to him. We'll see if he can. Looked like he had some charisma as well with his fit he had pre-fight. We'll see if that helps bring him up the card, and we'll see how he does with better competition. But big KO for Chaos. Bud and Spitz, stop playing around. You know what time it is. Also, on that same card, and I almost forgot, Joshua Franco versus Andrew Maloney. Boxing's problem is not the fact that they don't have star power. It's the judges. I said this in a tweet. I'll pop it up. There was no headbutt that made that eye swell up. Maloney jabbing Franco's face over and over and over. In fact, there was live video of probably the punch that caused it to swell up. Yet they called it for a headbutt that did not happen. A phantom headbutt. How are the judges for boxing consistently so incompetent? We rag on the NBA, we rag on the NFL, we rag on the MLB. Nobody has worse umpire, refereeing, judging, whatever you want to call it, officiating than boxing. It is so corrupt and they're so just incompetent. And then Josh Franco and his trainer wants to parade around like they did something. You're a bum. You are a bum. Excuse my French for my family watching this, or any adult or anybody that does not want to hear me. I try to keep it clean here on the 815 exchanges. We have a difference of ages watching this, but that was excuse my French, a bitch move. That was a bitch move. You and the trainer look like bitches. Pussies. Acted and then wanted to parade the title around like you did something. You were getting whooped. You did nothing. And then you want to go out and call out Chocolito. You want to fight Roman Gonzalez. Bro, he's going to put your lights out a minute into the first round. You are a bum. You're holding a fake title. You are a bum. Nonetheless, besides Franco just not being a great fighter, again, boxing judges, what are you doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Robert Byrd and Adeline Byrd should never judge a boxing match for the rest of their lives. With that said, we have reached the roundup, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. A lot of high school basketball and some winners. We're going to talk about a lot of winners here in the roundup. But first, high school basketball. We had that big high school basketball event. I'll go chronologically. We had Mikey Williams and Lake Norman take on Oak Hill and MJ Rice. Rice looked very good. For a junior, that body almost looks NBA ready. I'm not going to lie. He played a great game, had 19 points before his injury. Mikey did not play the best game I've ever seen him play. I was interested to see how he was going to do against the competition. Even though Oak Hill just had a better team, which was reflected in the scoreline, I think they beat him by almost 20. Mikey just didn't have his great game. He got his points, but was very sloppy, turned the ball over a lot. We'll see if he can correct some of that stuff over the course of this season, but that was definitely his biggest weakness in the game against Oak Hill, and seems like that might be his biggest weakness against competition. Sierra Canyon took on Carando and Jaden Hardy. Jaden Hardy, the best shooting guard in the country. Sierra Canyon has Amari Bailey, one of the best juniors in the nation. Amari had 29. Shai Odom also had a great game, but Jaden Hardy, 39 points. And what I'll call the second best performance, as I'll get to, I think had the best performance. Hardy with the second best performance of the night. He looked great. He was the truth. Sierra Canyon's coach cost him this game. I do not know why Bronny was taken out of the game. I don't understand why he didn't close. You need your best players. He is clearly one of the better players on that team. I don't know why he was taken out. And you put, I think Dylan White came in for them. And with all due respect, Bronny is clearly a better player than him. Clearly a better defender. He did a great job of containing Frankie Collins, the Michigan commit, a 4-star prospect himself. Did a pretty good job containing him all night. And you just kind of, you take him out. Frankie Collins starts feasting on Dylan White. I don't really understand the choices that were made there, and I feel like that cost Sierra Canyon the game. Taking Bronny out, you took away that offensive he could have brought, and then you talk away more importantly, like I said, the defense. Collins just kind of went off. Hardy went off after that, and y'all were fish out of water. Amari really didn't have anything to do. I know a lot of people are going to be critical of Bronny because of that. It's not really his fault. I feel like the shackles are still on, and I don't really know why. If Sierra Canyon is going to be, they're not going to be as good as they were last year, but if they're going to be competitive, if they're going to be a good team, like a top 25 team, y'all got to unleash the kid. You got to unleash the kid. Is he going to fail? Yes. But every single player is going to have bad stretches in a game. Hardy had bad stretches. Chet and Emoni, who I'm about to get to, have bad stretches in this game. Not very many. But it's like you got to let him, for his growth, for him to reach that potential that he has, for what he could be as a player, you got to take the shackles off. Let him create. Let Bronny be Bronny. You'll be better for it. Because right now I feel like Chevalier is holding him back, and I don't really understand why. And it's going to cost the team if y'all don't unleash this kid. Just let him be aggressive offensively. Let him just play him, and I promise it'll work out. But the big game for high school basketball, the big game of the event, of course, we have the top, well, technically Patrick Baldwin is the top player in 2021. But after this game, even though I hope Pat goes to Duke, Chet Holmgren is absolutely the best player in high school basketball. 31, 12, and 6. And of course, everybody's going to see Emoni had 36 and 10. They're going to be like, oh, it was almost like a stalemate. This was not a stalemate. This was not under any circumstances a stalemate. Emoni played a pretty good game, but as I've said repeatedly, as I said on Twitter, Y'all anointed this kid too fast. He is a great player. He may be a generational prospect next year. We'll see how his development goes. He was not the best basketball player in high school last year. I'm not taking him over Cade Cunningham or Jalen Green. And I'm not taking him over Chet Holmgren this year. We saw that matchup happen. Chet Holmgren, you just have to watch the game. He looked even better than that stat line says. He was like, word to Jalen Green, he was a unicorn. I've never seen anything like it in my life. 7'1", handle, it wasn't like he was stiff in his movements. He had very fluid movements, very fluid shooting stroke. Outshot Emoni Bates, percentage-wise at least, and from three. He was unstoppable inside. He's one of the best defenders I've seen come out of high school basketball in a long time, especially in the post. One of the best shot blockers. And then he has this knack for in the post when people challenge him to not foul. Just a completely dominant performance on both sides. There was nothing he could not do in that game. Emoni, and even went at Emoni. I saw a survey on Instagram where they gave Emoni defense. I didn't see it. With all due respect, Emoni Bates, I think he's going to be a special player. He's not, with all due respect, I don't see it right now. I don't see this whole, he's the best prospect, the best player in high school basketball. You could argue he's the best prospect in his long-term future. Because you could say, where's Chet going to play? He's got to bulk up. Emoni has to too, but I can see that argument. Emoni's a KD clone. His potential, his future is pretty much already, we can kind of see. But he is absolutely not the best player in high school basketball, and it's not even up for debate for me. It's not. He's not. It's okay. He can still be this amazing prospect and not be the best player in high school basketball. Stop anointing these kids with these titles that they have not earned, that they do not deserve, and that they do not are, and putting all this extra pressure. Just let him play. Let him be who Emoni Bates is. Let his story be told. His time will come, and it is coming. And it will probably be next year when he runs high school basketball. But for this year, Chet Holmgren runs high school basketball. Like I said, I was going to be talking about winners. DJ wins the Masters with a record 20 under. Shout out to Dustin Johnson, number one player in the world. His first green jacket. Dominant performance from him. Bryson DeChambeau, what happened to that par 67? You had an awful night, bro. You had an awful week. Hold up, had an awful weekend. Wasn't very revolutionary, Bryson. You were in DeChambeau's. But yeah, big win for DJ. Preserves his title as best in the world. Dominant performance, and yeah. Quick turnaround as the next Masters. I think they said is in like 4 months. So yeah, big win for DJ. Record. Speaking of records, Lewis Hamilton ties the F1 record with his 7th title. He's the GOAT. I said this about 3 or 4 episodes ago on that dual episode with Khabib. GOAT. He's the GOAT. He's the best F1 driver of all time. Leader in wins. Now he's tied for the leader in titles with the great Michael Schumacher. But Lewis Hamilton, he's the best ever. Best ever, none greater. Wins the title with 3 races to go. Very likely to win the 8th next year. And we'll see how many he ends up when he retires. But yeah, one of the best of all time. Shout out to Lewis. So, without further ado, that's all of my notes. I can't really think of anything else. NBA Draft Wednesday. So, I will say, if you're looking for like an overview of the prospects, especially at the top, we did have that NBA Draft preview episode last week. So, feel free to go back and watch that for all your NBA Draft coverage. Free agency coming up, so that'll be interesting. And see what moves get made there. But yeah, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, have a great week. Ocho. Signing